Do you know that depression, anxiety, and stress can be overcome? Empower yourself through IQ Excellence Self-Therapy, a holistic, psycho-spiritual self-empowerment program to help you enhance your spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Reclaim your energetic, optimistic, creative, and motivated self. And more importantly, realize your full potential. The 21st century, mental illness is skyrocketing globally. Today, the world is in a turmoil. Depression, anxiety, stress are most commonly afflicting our society and impacting our economy significantly. According to the World Health Organization, the estimated cost to the global economy is $1 trillion per year in lost productivity. Malaysia is not spared. According to 2015 National Health and Mobility Survey, 1 in 3, or 29.12% adults aged 16 years and above are struggling with mental health issues. This has tripled from 10.7% in 1996. In 2018, a Malaysian major daily reported by 2020, mental health would become the second biggest health problem after heart disease. Today, depression is the leading cause of illness and disability among adolescents. Suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst 15 to 29-year-olds. However, within the darkness, there is always light. There is hope. Hope is the heartbeat of the soul. IQ Excellence Self-Therapy will help you discover purification of the heart, purposeful living, holistic self-care, mind, body, heart, and soul. Embracing IQX 9 Habits and 9 Laws will help you become heart-centered, enjoy a psychological and spiritual well-being, and most importantly, you become self-empowered. You can now realize your full potential, cope with the normal stresses of life, work productively and fruitfully, and are able to contribute to the community, hence benefiting the society at large.
Assalamualaikum Wani.
Waalaikumsalam.
Clear tak?
Clear, sangat clear.
Clear Wani, for your information, Wani bersiaran daripada Setia Alam. Is that correct kan?
Yes.
Ya,
Betul.
bersiaran daripada Setia Alam. So saya di Shah Alam, which is not far, tapi ya Allah lamanya tak berjumpa ya Wani.
Kan sangat.
Yes. So basically what we want to do is, okay, I don't want to be interrupting you
It's
sepanjang penceritaan. Sebab nanti kan bila kita dah cerita-cerita kan suddenly orang interrupt kan, lepas tu kita macam alamak, sudah hilang lah the train of thoughts kan. So I did send you some notes. Biasalah kita bila nak buat live show ni kan, kita adalah hantar notes kan, okay, what we should be talking about and all that. Yes. So we want you we hope you'll be able to tell us more about MRKH, specifically in Malaysia, and for you, how has that affected your life in general, and when did you find out, how did you handle it, bagaimana dapat menerima atau reda dengan keadaan yang dihadapi, and was there any emotional struggle that comes along with it, and what are some of the biggest lessons that you have faced because of this condition. And mungkin I'm not sure, mungkin ada lagi cerita-cerita lain yang Wani boleh share dengan kami yang rasa boleh memberi manfaat kepada pendengar kita, penonton kita. And later I will come back and perhaps add on to your sharing, insyaAllah. And while we're doing that, I will be sharing some of the pictures yang I took from some resources. I hope you don't mind, so that we can share the pictures with the audience. So silakan. Thank you so much.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. By the way, Kak El, please feel free to interrupt me anytime sebab tak nak macam Wani cakap sorang-sorang macam tu.
Sure. Alright.
Okay, so as Kak El mentioned just now, MRK syndrome adalah satu sindrom yang terjadi sejak lahir, di mana seorang perempuan tu dilahirkan tanpa rahim dan tanpa laluan faraj. Jadi sindrom ni adalah satu sindrom yang jarang berlaku, satu dalam 4,000 ke 5,000 wanita seluruh dunia. Dan disebabkan kita kekurangan satu rahim dekat dalam badan kan, so obviously organs lain yang berdekatan akan affected lah. So mainly buah pinggang, pundi kencing, jantung, pendengaran dan tulang. Ini yang paling common lah, yang paling biasa terkesan. In my case, my kidneys are smaller than the normal size. My bladder dia lebih sensitif daripada bladder yang normal, and my hearing almost ada half saja. I have about 50 to 60% of hearing. Setakat ni tu aja, harap tak ada surprises lagi lepas ni. So I was diagnosed after SPM. After SPM sebab tak ada period. So memang daripada remaja lagi, since I was in school, memang dah dapat rasa there's something wrong with me. Satu, sebab selalu sakit. Of all my siblings, Wani yang paling selalu pergi klinik. And then my sister got her period at the age of 10. And I still haven't gotten mine. So masa tu memang dapat rasanya macam ada something wrong kot dengan aku. And plus kita dah masuk sekolah menengah, kita belajar science and whatnot kan. So kita dah belajar lah yang sistem reproduktif kan. So kita tahu kalau tak ada period ni, there must be something to do with sistem reproduktif lah. And to be honest, I was in denial dulu. Maybe because kita budak lagi kan. Budak dulu dengan budak sekarang tak sama. Budak dulu like memang budak betul kan.
Yes.
Yes, so macam I did not know how to handle it, and I was born in a family yang sangat traditional, sangat conventional, religious, typical Asian family, very Asian family yang we didn't talk about benda macam, we didn't talk about sexual health, about reproductive health kan. Benda tu macam benda segan kan, nak cerita pasal bilik-bilik benda segan.
Yes.
So we didn't talk about it as a family. Bila dekat sekolah, I distracted myself from hakikat tu, but of course every once in a while kita teringat lah sebab rasa left out bila for example kawan-kawan uzur tak boleh pergi surau, or bulan puasa kan ada yang uzur. Lepas tu macam kadang-kadang dia minta kita pad, and I was like tak ada, tak pernah ada pad, tak pernah beli pad.
Yes.
So yeah, benda-benda macam tu lah. And as a teenager, kita tak nak jadi lain daripada yang lain. Individuality and uniqueness tu is something yang kita appreciate bila kita adult je kan. Bila kita teenager, kita nak fit in je. Whatever yang kawan-kawan kita ada, kita nak. And kita nak sama je macam kawan-kawan kita. I didn't want to be different. The last thing that I wanted is to be different.
Yeah.
So benda tu macam kita tangguh-tangguh sampai after SPM lah. Macam I give myself time, me and my mum. Macam okay tak ada period, tak apa, kita tunggu sampai form 3. Tak ada lagi, tunggu sampai form 4. Tak ada lagi, tunggu sampai form 5. Kita okay lah, final after SPM sebab takut benda tu akan kacau my process of sitting for SPM kan.
Yeah.
So dah lepas SPM baru check, and the process of finding the right diagnosis tu pun mengambil masa yang sangat lama because I was being passed from one doctor to another, one hospital to another, and all these doctors yang I met, I was their very first MRKH patient. So most of them were clueless macam kenapa macam ni macam like in front of me,
something
macam
new to them.
Macam mana boleh tak jumpa uterus, and being a teenager, basically a child lah masa tu kan. You have to go through all these tests and treatments and have all this alat masuk your body, test yang painful tu, and still doktor tak dapat jawapan. The doctor have to call diorang punya colleagues kat depan kita. They had to do a meeting to discuss kenapa dengan dia ni. So masa tu itu lagi straighten my suspicion yang I was different lah kan. Sampailah I think doktor yang keempat or keenam baru I found out yang I was born without uterus. Masa tu pun they didn't mention the term was MRKH. Diorang just cakap she was born without uterus. They told my mum.
Right.
So masa tu and they didn't mention about me not having upper vagina sebab apparently it's something yang taboo, and diorang just cakap bila nak kahwin nanti datang balik and I'll tell you more, macam tu. So lagilah macam I was like kita clueless tau. Like my whole life I have been asking myself what was wrong with me. Lepas tu after so many hospital visit, doctor visit, the answer that I got was she was born with a uterus, and nanti dah nak kahwin nanti datang, nanti we'll tell more, and that's it. So macam okay kan. I just understood it as tak boleh pregnant, itu je.
Yeah.
I didn't know that MRKH is way more than that, more than just not being able to get pregnant. Sebab kalau cakap not being able to get pregnant, di bawah infertility issues kan banyak je condition yang kan tak boleh pregnant tu.
Yeah.
So it's more. Tapi I guess doctors pun masa tu belum cukup, orang cakap belum cukup equipped sebab dia pun tak ada patients, dia tak ada reference lain selain daripada I. So sekarang ni lah baru Wani faham benda tu, but back then I was like, when you're a doctor you're supposed to know. Macam tu kan.
You expect people, the doctors to tell you what's wrong.
Betul, sebab zaman tu dah lah macam kita tak ada Google apa semua, so memang doktor je lah kita punya source of information kan. And I think the diagnosis bothered my mum more than it bothered me, sebab being a child, macam Wani tak faham sangat. I just understood it as I cannot get pregnant. But my mom, of course, she understood more lah kan. Dia dah nampak nanti my relationships macam mana, my marriage macam mana, dia dah nampak jauh. So it really bothered her, and dia macam down lah. And the first thing that dia cakap, dia kata, Wani, I think it's best for you to not get married kot kan. Depan doktor tu, like there and then, you know.
At what age was this? 18 years old.
18, not 17 going 18 lah.
18, yes.
So dia kata, Wani, I think it's best for you to not get married. Awak duduk dengan Umi je lah sampai tua. So, I'm fine with duduk dengan you sampai tua, but I'm not sure about the not getting married. But macam, even though kita budak masa tu, kita bukanlah fikir pasal kahwin pun. But of course you have this vision of you having your own family, just like anybody else kan. Kita nak normal. I just wanted to be normal, that's all. So yeah, that's how it started. And masa tu I stayed in denial lagi sebenarnya masa tu. Bukanlah in denial macam mana, I distracted myself lah. Sebab as a teenager, what can I do? I tak boleh buat apa-apa benda tu kan. I think the reality started to hit me bila I started to have relationship. Masa tu yang macam macam mana ni kan. I mean before that lagi, habis SPM masuk ITM kita duduk dorm kan, duduk asrama. So masa tu tak, obviously memang kantoi lah. I cannot keep my condition a secret because semua orang perasan I can always puasa. I tak pernah tak boleh solat. And I tak pernah beli pad kan. So my roommate semua perasan lah benda tu. So I cannot keep it a secret from them. And then bila I got myself into relationship pun, it was very tricky. In a sense that macam mana nak bagi tahu, you know, macam mana nak bagi tahu when is too early or too late, and nak cakap tu macam mana kan. And benda tu kita nak bagi tahu kawan-kawan pun macam susah. Macam apa lagi kita nak bagi tahu orang lelaki yang lagilah tak faham how female body works kan. So of course, I went through all sorts of relationship, all sorts of rejection. Bukanlah nak kata every single relationship tu the other party yang meninggalkan. Adalah juga I yang meninggalkan. Kan? But I have to admit yang having MRK syndrome definitely affected my relationships lah. Sebab you know, being in an Asian country, having a family tu is a big deal kan. Having your own kid is a big deal. Like you would thought laki tak kisah. I mean at that time, I guess I was naive and I thought, you know, kalau laki tak kisah sangat kot, perempuan je yang macam selalu nak jadi emak ni. But I was wrong. I was dead wrong because I got rejected a few times because of that. Kalau bukan the guy pun family dia. So sometimes the guy is okay with it, tapi family dia tak okay. Tak boleh jugalah sebab you know, kita bukan macam macam orang barat yang kalau kita kahwin dengan dia je kan. In Asian countries kan you marry the whole family kan. So apa lagi? What else should I share? Panjang tu.
Exactly. I think it's very important that orang tahu what exactly is MRKH, right? So baru dia orang tahu the extent of the difficulty, the extent of the challenge, because it doesn't just involve you, orang yang with the condition, but it will in future it will affect your husband, whether already deciding whether you want to have kids and what you're going to do about it and that kind of thing. And also kita lah Asian family, both side of the family, macam mana dia orang nak redha, nak menerima Wani seadanya and all that. So how I don't know whether how did that affect you, of course, all the relationship matters and all that. Cuma in terms of yourself, your mentally, how do you cope with it?
Um, as a kid, I was very insecure about myself. I had really low self-confidence, low self-esteem. Sebab kita tahu dah kita tak macam orang lain, and I saw myself as someone yang less of a girl compared to my other girlfriends kan.
Right.
So start tu je dah salah kan. So benda tu kita carry sampai kita besar. It really helped bila I studied performing arts sebab benda tu dia force me to go on stage and perform, and benda tu yang help me to boost my confidence. But still there's a lot of mental health issues yang I have to deal with sebab macam mana redha ni dia bukan benda yang one off. Dia benda yang kena renew. Dia kena renew every day. So
betul.
ada hari kita redha, ada hari kita susah. Macam tu. So I have accepted it to be that way, because before this I thought kenapa aku ni macam susah nak redha, macam like I've accepted my condition kan, tapi kenapa every once in a while I rasa sedih. Does it mean I tak redha? Kan? Sometimes I question myself kan, kata I dah accept my condition kan, I tak marah dengan Tuhan kan, memang tak pernah kan. I always, in fact I selalu tengok my condition as a gift, anugerah, because having this condition really opened my eyes and helped me to help others as well and see things from a totally different perspective. So to me, having this condition is a blessing, anugerah. So despite having all this mindset, kenapa every once in a while I still rasa kadang-kadang sedih, kadang-kadang rasa kurang, diri ni kurang, benda macam tu kan. So benda tu buat I question, I ni tak cukup iman ke, I ni tak cukup redha ke kan?
Right.
But after so many years living with MRK syndrome, I've learned that redha is something that you renew every day. And you decide, it's a decision, it's a choice yang you can make every day. It's totally okay kalau tiba-tiba satu hari you choose macam I just nak dwell je hari ni, I just want to feel sorry for myself just for today. Esok I bangun balik, so that's how it has been affecting me, and that's how I've been coping it lah. Taking it as it is.
Yeah, I think it's very normal. Yalah, kita punya iman ni pun turun naik kan. Kalau iman kita sentiasa macam tu je, bukanlah human kita ni, betul tak? Betul. So, but it's good that you realise that and you're aware of that fact, so that kita keep ourselves in check kan. Sebab if you let it go out of hand, it won't be good lah orang kata kan. So
And it's really frustrating, macam mana benda ni pun I only learn bila dah go through macam-macam kan. Like many years back, this was not my mindset. Years back, my mindset years back tak macam ni. Sebab I realise that kadang-kadang orang akan judge kita from one single moment yang kita weak kan. Padahal all these years we have been accepting it. So kadang-kadang adalah a few moments yang kita weak, tapi orang akan judge kita from that one single moment yang kita weak tu, and start preaching macam sabarlah you, ini dugaan awal, like macam mana nak cakap
macam selama ni kita tak sabar
positivity. To me benda tu macam toxic positivity tau, like everything that you're telling me, I know already. I'm living with this my whole life, kan? So I think the fact that I am still here, I am alive, I carry on with my life, kan? I have my family, I have my creative work, I do things. I bukannya macam macam just curl up in bed for 36 years. To me that's an achievement, So macam janganlah preach. My pet peeve is macam orang preach benda yang as if I tak tahu benda tu.
Yes. So I think it's also looking at little achievement as apa orang kata, as you move along your journey, little achievement tu is what counts.
Kita at the age yang teenager macam tu kan, kita semua benda nak share dengan friends kan. Kalau
Yeah.
pasal boys ke, pasal sports, pasal exam apa semua kita nak share dengan friends. So bila I dapat that diagnosis, I tak tahu macam mana nak share dengan friends sebab I know that diorang takkan faham.
Yeah.
Macam mana I nak cakap yang aku takkan dapat period sampai bila-bila dan aku takkan pregnant. Macam mana I nak share tu dengan my friends, diorang takkan faham.
Right.
So I grew up believing that I was alone, and doktor pun, semua doktor yang I jumpa dia cakap you're my first patient. I tak pernah ada patient macam ni. And like ayat-ayat tu mungkin maybe I'm supposed to feel special, tapi masa tu at that age, being immature and childish kan,
Yes.
I was like that's not helping me.
Yeah.
Benda tu buat I rasa isolated. Benda tu buat I
Right,
rasa isolated. Sampailah bila I mengenali internet, I mengenali Google, I search, I basically educate myself about my condition. I wanted to learn my body.
Right.
And I found out nama dia MRK syndrome. So I cari support group. Dekat Malaysia tak ada dekat a few countries. Tak semua countries yang ada, tapi the biggest support group yang ada masa tu was one in the US.
Right.
So that was the very first MRK support group yang I joined. Nama dia Beautiful You Foundation.
Right.
And through that support group, I managed to get a Skype session dengan dia punya co-founder support group tu. And kita orang dapat borak lah. And macam mana, moment borak dengan dia tu was so empowering for me sebab for the first time, even though it was just Skype session, bukannya jumpa face to face pun, kita tengok screen laptop je, tapi the fact that I am looking at someone yang ada condition the same as me, wow, dia rasa dia macam empowering gila.
Yes.
Like I pandang dia macam dia ni pun tak ada period, dia ni pun tak ada uterus, and whatever that I told her about, dia macam I know how you feel apa semua, dia boleh relate, semua benda dia boleh relate.
Right.
So masa tu I thought, kalau I can feel this way dengan someone from across the globe, apa lagi dengan someone in Malaysia yang you know, kita share the same background, the same culture. So I thought, benda ni penting peer support ni penting. I never thought it would be this penting sebab I thought it's just gonna be, you know, macam typical girlfriends, borak-borak macam tu kan. Tapi support group punya dynamic lain sebab kita semua ada like serious issues yang kita-kita je faham. You know, orang lain tak faham, kita-kita je faham. So bond tu lain lah daripada other kinds of friendship. So I really wanted that for other MRK girls in Malaysia, because I know how it feels like to grow up as an MRK girl yang tak ada peer support, tak ada reference, nobody to talk to, tak ada orang understand. Of course kita boleh dapat support daripada friends, family, doktor, tapi dia tak sama dengan support orang yang senasib dengan kita, lain.
Betul.
So bila balik Malaysia, after my masters, balik Malaysia, I remember masa tu I perform dekat Publica. I perform my music and poetry kat situ. Lepas tu after my performance, ada this one girl approach me. So I thought dia usually maybe one of my listeners or my audience yang nak cakap something about my creative work kan.
Yes.
And suddenly dia datang kat I and dia cakap, Kak Wani, saya pun ada MRK syndrome. Macam Kak Wani. Like she has been reading my blog macam tu, I think. So masa tu kan, kita orang dulu terus nangis and kita orang terus hug each other. I didn't even know her name masa tu tau.
Right.
Macam, betul ke? Saya pun tak ada rahim, saya pun tak ada period. So I terus peluk dia. And macam kita macam long lost sisters tau.
Yeah.
So, wow, macam I macam pegang badan dia kan. Wow, this is like another me.
Right.
Macam another body, macam mine. So kita orang borak and we were like, mesti ada ramai lagi macam kita kan, because
Right.
1 in 5,000 tu kalau tengok populasi orang Malaysia, mesti
Malaysia,
ada lagi
yeah.
macam kita.
Mm-mm.
Okay, jomlah kita start support group. So the support group started with both of us lah. Daripada 2
Alhamdulillah.
orang, Alhamdulillah sekarang ada dalam 200. 200 ni mungkinlah bunyi dia macam tak ramai, tapi if you think about it, 1 in 5,000, 200 kali 5,000, that's
Betul.
how many Malaysians we have covered. So
Right.
200 orang tu pun susah nak cari tau. Susah macam kita nak pujuk, sebab 200 orang ni pun diorang macam-macam. Tak semuanya yang macam boleh open enough to berborak dalam group. Ada yang secluded, tak nak campur dalam group. Ada yang mak dia je masuk, anak dia tak nak masuk.
Right.
Macam-macam lah, because acceptance kan, acceptance level lain-lain orang, lain-lain stage kan.
Yeah. And I'm sure they have their own emotional turmoil kan. What is dia, betul kan? Semuanya with different perception of the condition and all that kan. So it's so apa orang kata expected lah benda ni. Even yet macam, okay, this is, we are talking about a syndrome like MRKH. Like when we go to mental health circle pun, they are there but they don't want to talk. But it goes back to the condition. Maknanya condition ni memang dia tak nak bercakap kan. Jadi the caregiver lah yang bagi ni. But knowing that they are out there at least trying to get some sort of help and support is already something yang alhamdulillah we should be thankful. Yes. And that's the aim of IQ Excellence when we first started off thinking of teaching people how they can, before they get support, they can help themselves. Ataupun with support, hand in hand with therapy, hand in hand with going to a psychiatry and all that, they can also on their own do this self-therapy, so that yelah masa kan kita tak tahu you nak masa yang kena trigger tu at what time. It could be in the middle of the night, it could be other people are out of reach and all that. So if you are able and if you're equipped with cara-cara untuk macam mana nak buat terapi ni so that you will feel better at least for that time, and it goes back to, like I said, to our fitrah lah, going back to what was taught to us dari segi maybe selawat ke apa, whatever yang boleh menolong kita lah mengatakan. So, but it works differently for different people of course, but knowing the fundamentals and knowing the at least that will I'm sure help a lot of people. So what kind of advice would you give to people faced with, if not the same, with similar challenges as you?
I think first kali and I would like to quote my ayah lah. Dia cakap kita kena faham orang yang tak faham kita. Kita kena faham orang yang tak faham kita. Maksudnya try to find support dari orang yang capable of giving support. It doesn't have to be your family. This is what I learned myself lah. Sebabnya diagnosis ni adalah benda yang mencabar untuk difahami, sebab dia satu sindrom yang jarang berlaku, and parents kita datang dari generasi tak berbual tentang benda-benda intimate macam ni. Bukannya parents kita tak kisahlah cakap pasal sexual health ke, mental health ke, reproductive health ke, bukannya parents kita or family kita tak nak support. They don't know how to. They don't know how to, and diorang tak dibesarkan dalam generasi yang mengajar benda-benda tu, yang value benda-benda tu kan. Sebab generasi diorang ada keperluan lain, benda lain yang perlu di prioritize. So generasi kita, keperluan kita kena prioritize, mental health dan sebagainya. So kena husnuzon lah. Husnuzon tu sangat penting. Bersangka baik pada orang keliling kita, family kita, bersangka baik pada Allah. Bersangka baik pada Allah tu sangat penting. So kita jangan memaksa-maksa orang yang tak mampu nak support kita untuk support kita. Lepas tu kita rasa kecewa. Macam ni, kenapa my mom macam ni, kenapa my dad macam ni, kenapa my best friend macam ni kan. your responsibility untuk improve your health, you cari tempat lain kan.
Yes.
Professional health ke kan. Kadang-kadang you can find it dalam kawan yang rupanya tak dapat pun. Tapi dia boleh give the right support.
Right.
So my advice would be find your tribe. Find your tribe. Find your tribe, find your circle kan. Find you create your new family lah basically. Family yang boleh support you untuk maintain your health tu. And then kedua, kena acknowledge yang sebelum kuat kena lemah dulu. Itu benda yang I myself buat. Every time I rasa down ke apa, I will give myself time untuk dwell, untuk feel sorry for myself apa semua. And then usually I akan bagi myself time maximum 2 minggu lah. For example, macam masa I found out yang I've lost half of my hearing tu kan, it really affected me sebab because I'm a performer. You know, my whole life has been about the stage, about sound, about music, about performing arts, and being told that I've lost half of my hearing because of my condition. Terduduk lah masa tu, I just duduk dekat dalam kereta and termenung and nangis. So macam tak terfikir benda tu boleh jadi.
Right.
So masa tu I decided, okay, I'm gonna give myself time, maximum 2 minggu untuk aku mensampahkan diri.
Ada perkataan tu
mensampahkan diri. Just cave in. Okay, dah lepas 2 minggu, okay, time out, dah cukup. You know, bangun, buat kerja. So, tapi ada hikmah je juga sebab benda tu jadi masa awal-awal pandemik kan. So, it gives me more time to digest benda ni. It gives me more time to digest benda ni, and also it pushes me to finish the recording of my album. Sebab masa tu kita orang tengah struggle nak siapkan album. Struggle nak siapkan album, ada macam-macam problem yang rupanya part of the problem ialah my hearing lah. So bila I dapat tahu my diagnosis tu, terus benda tu push me to finishkan my album. Sebab bila I tanya doktor, is my hearings gonna get worse? Adakah dia akan merosot sampai hilang totally? Because I do have MRK friends yang totally hilang dia punya hearing. So I tanya, so that was my biggest fear kan. Am I going to lose my hearing totally kan? Dia kata tak tahu. You have to come and check every 6 months. Dia kata macam tu. So masa tu I nak bagi tahu my producer dengan my bandmates, I takut sangat. Sebab I nak bagi tahu my producer macam siapa nak dia punya recording artist dia pekak. There's no producer in the world yang nak recording artist dia pekak. And I malu nak bagi tahu my bandmates pasal my hearing loss masa tu sebab rupanya all those arguments that we had in the recording studio was because I tak dengar. Selama ni I confident. Selama ni I macam kenapa korang lain, I dengar lain. You know, selama ni I confident I betul. So memang Allah nak ajar I lah, Allah nak tunjuk. Allah nak I belajar. So macam tu dah after a few months baru I told my bandmates and my producer, and they were very supportive about it. And my producer cakap, Wani, kalau album ni will be your first and your last, kita buat betul-betul. Sebab tak tahu my hearing ada sampai bila kan. I imagine kalau what if one day I bangun tidur tiba-tiba I dah tak dengar. And macam lepas diagnosis tu tiba-tiba macam Wani alert gila dengan every little sound tau. Bunyi
sound, yes, you become more sensitive.
Bunyi air
because you don't want to take it for granted.
Yes. And that was also the moment yang I started mengaji lagi kerap daripada biasa, because it made me think that kalau I dah tak boleh dengar kan, I tak boleh dengar myself mengaji. Takutnya. I takut sangat kalau I tak boleh dengar myself mengaji. So I cuba rajinkan diri mengaji sementara ada lagi my hearing, and I cepat-cepat siapkan album, and Alhamdulillah album dah release. So semua benda ada hikmah lah, Alhamdulillah. You know, macam my mom pun, it's a learning curve for my mom. It's a learning process for my mom. Dia from being in denial, from being someone yang asked me to keep my condition a secret kan. Sepanjang membesar, my mom selalu pesan, Wani jangan bagi tahu siapa-siapa. I tahu bukan dia malu. I know she meant well. I know she
Yes.
wanted to protect me sebab dia tak nak orang mainkan I, dia tak nak orang malukan I, you know. But of
Right.
course masa tu kita budak-budak, kita fikir macam mak aku ni malu dengan aku ke? Dia malu ke
Right.
ada anak
That's the
yang
first, yeah.
aku? Sebab kita budak lagi masa tu tau.
Right.
But as I grow, especially bila I myself become a mum, terus I nampak benda-benda my mum cakap tu, walaupun benda tu yes, not the right words kan. Dia pun tak acute with that knowledge kan.
Right.
Tapi she definitely meant well. So
Right.
macam she told me, dia kata Wani jangan bagi tahu about your condition dekat siapa-siapa. Dia kata jangan cakap pasal benda ni in public, and bila you ada anak jangan cakap yang you adopt anak tu, cakap je yang you mengandung. You know, I can see yang my mum cakap semua ni out of fear.
Trying to protect you as a mom.
Trying to protect me, and dia pun takut kan. But you know, I had to sit down with my mum and said there's no way I can lie about something as big as pregnancy kot. Macam I didn't have a big belly for 9 months. Macam mana I nak cakap tiba-tiba I ada baby ni kan. So my advocacy work pun, to be honest, I started doing it behind her back. I didn't ask for her blessing sebab I know she wouldn't be okay with it. Sebab dia memang dah cakap awal-awal jangan cakap pasal benda ni in public. But I did it because I wanted to help others. So sebab I realise yang bila I tolong orang, I tolong myself juga. Every time I rasa sedih and every time I tolong other MRKH girls, and kita bukan tolong dari segi bagi sokongan mental emotional je, kita tolong dia pergi check up apa semua kan. Kita sit down dengan partner dia, dengan mak dia, explain, comfort them apa semua. Automatically macam kita comfort ourselves juga.
Betul.
So macam after several years of advocating about MRKH syndrome, baru this few years ago baru my mum I would say bagi dia punya green light lah, you know.
I'm sure she sees how you're adding value to other people's life kan.
Yes, I remember I keluar daripada Angkasa Puri, masa tu baru lepas on air dekat this radio station, and tiba-tiba my mum call and cakap I listen to you on the radio. Masa tu I had goosebumps. I macam takutnya sebab you know I was talking about vagina, I was talking about sex, I was talking about you know all these things and
all the
benda-benda
taboo.
So I had goosebumps, and my mom said you were really good. I really enjoyed it. Masa thank you. Masa I letak phone, I terus macam
I would say the same way. Alhamdulillah. I think sebenarnya on top of it all, sebenarnya lah, if we were to look back all the apa yang kita panggil challenges in our life ni, and sebenarnya lebih banyak hikmah daripada of course as human, challenges will always be there.
Yes.
But there's always hikmah in whatever Allah has given us. I feel and I'm sure it's the same for you too. Lebih banyak. I mean, look at you now. I mean, you're happy. I mean, you're happily married. You have a child, and I'm sure there's more good than bad. I am sure of that. Allah tu bukan saja bagi kita punya condition tu macam tu kan. I would say.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to add? What would you say? 3 of the, or maybe 1 or 2 lessons from this whole episode of your life.
I think it's very important for every person to redefine happiness. Sebab kenapa kita susah nak rasa happy, sebab kita nampak happiness tu dalam certain form je. For example, kita tengok happiness is berkahwin, happiness is mengandung, melahirkan anak. So kalau if you set the definition of happiness macam tu, memang you susah nak rasa bahagia. You susah nak rasa bersyukur kan. So first kali memang kena bersangka baik dengan Allah. Macam to me, Allah tu baik sangat dengan Wani. Sebab I remember I had a friend yang tanya, engkau tak pernah marah ke dengan Allah? I was like, why? Kenapa aku nak marah dengan Allah? But I totally understand where he came from, kenapa dia tanya macam tu. Sebab bila I found
century, mental illness is seriously impacting the world, and Malaysia is not spared. 3 out of 10 Malaysians suffer from mental illness. Depression is the major mental illness among Malaysians due to stress at the workplace and family pressure. 66 working days are lost annually by corporate Malaysia. And stress is the number 1 risk factor for health and productivity amongst Asian employers. Despite the circumstances, there is still light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. Hope is the heartbeat of the soul. IQ Excellence Self-Therapy with 9 Habits, 9 Laws will help you empower yourself through a holistic psycho-spiritual self-care program. Enhance your psychological and spiritual well-being through purification of your heart. Reclaim your energetic, optimistic, creative and motivated self. Realize your full potential as a heart-centered individual. Imagine you can now realize your full potential, cope with the normal stresses of life, work productively and fruitfully, contribute to your community, benefiting the society at large.